One and all, hope you're doing well. Second take of the video because OBS, this recording software, it's a bit silly in the way the new update is. It doesn't default to the monitor. You have to select the monitor. And so I just recorded the last video and it was a blank video, but you could hear my voice. So this is the second take. Just so you are aware of the risk calculation, I'm not sure if you know, but this takes into account UK 100, the German 30, the France 40, US 500, US 30, and it takes into account this. Sums that those metrics, and it gives us a value, and then we're looking at the difference from yesterday. So today from yesterday, and the reason why this is green is because of the UK 100. They've really shorted the FTSE. So had we taken this out the equation, we wouldn't be green on the 24-hour. But it looks like it's possibly going to be okay. You know, we're green across the board and indices are going up. So it matches the big picture. So we'll keep the UK 100 in, even though it does kind of skew things somewhat. So it's looking fairly strong. We've got the 21 moving average acting as a support, and we are a buy. They went long, but it's sort of selling it a little bit. This is fine because we've got the crossover saying that they sold it. So I did put in the Discord that it's been naughty, but I just was referring to this move the last few hours here. And you see that little tick up there. So really, it just tells us they're getting paid ever so slightly on their positioning the last few hours. But we did get the buy on the crossover here, so that explains this move, which is fine. It matches the risk calculation, so you know, no complaints. US 30. I think what might happen is that the yields really pumped yesterday, and they're probably going to size some relief a little bit in order for the next move, because we can't really pump strongly. We need to have a retracement and a zigzag. So I think some of these moves might get reversed. Especially dollar yen. We'll have to wait and see for that. So US 30, well, they sold it. We had a lot of chop there, admittedly, but we have the last confirmation was a down arrow to tell us that they sold it, and it happened there 3 o'clock yesterday. You see the nice move that we had, but admittedly here they went long, so they did get punished a bit. But that should be maybe some resistance there. So be really careful. We haven't got the crossover yet. If we do get the crossover, it's going to be a down arrow to say, yeah, is that right? They're going long, so now we're going to get an up arrow to say that they're going long, so we should be falling. So we should see a green arrow materialize on the US 30, which we might get the alert for. But I'm not sure how long I'm going to be sat at the computer today. I need to be looking at charts and things. But yeah, so we might be getting a crossover here. Very likely, to be honest with you. See those metrics, they're quite close. And DAX, well, they've gone long, but we fell. But it looks like they're selling it again. So we're just chopping. Every time it does fall, they are very quick to sell it. See how many times they've sold it. We fall, they sell it, and then we have a fall, and then they sell it, and we had a little sideways business there, but we just pumped, went long here, and that's why we got the punishment zone there, and they're potentially going to sell it again. If they do, then we're going to come up and challenge that box. Gold, well, they sold it. We got the arrow, so that's the buy indication. So 1876 area, 1873. That would be the level of note, that candle there, ish. And we might be coming up to challenge this better volumes. If you remember, this is a institutional selling on that candle, and there's one here as well. And there were large candles, so we've got to be careful. I think technically very strong resistance. Sentimentally, we could maybe overcome it. It depends what happens here. And don't forget what I was saying about the yields as well. Now, Euro USD has made a buy. We did nearly teeter to 50%, very briefly, and they sold it against its moving average, but we have gone sideways. I was saying in my first take to maybe go for a long with a stop there, but now I'm not sure. because we are sideways now. So you really want them to be selling it in order for this to come up, but it looks like we're just going sideways. So I was suggesting a micro lot of a stop there, but I don't know now. We're making a doji, and that's just an indecision candle. So I would be really careful. Perhaps if you had like a long bias on this particular currency pair, you could go for it, knowing that we have made a buy, but I'd just be really careful personally. Dollar yen, we're falling, and that's fine. They've gone long, so we have to have some resistance up here at 132.53 area, and that's that. So I'm expecting a reversal later on risk, and the dollar's probably going to pump. However, the Euro USD has made a buy, so it does depend what happens here. If this does surge, then obviously the dollar is going to be hampered a little bit, and I think that the yields are going to potentially take a sigh of relief, and then they're going to pump quite a bit later. So be really careful and know where your exit is, and don't move your stops as well, because that's quite easy to do, and just get stopped out, and then you can just come back, just come back to the trade. And so I don't know if that would be good. Hypothetically, a long with a stop at 106.90, but by the way things are going on the sentiment, I would just sit on my hands, especially today because we've got the power speech.